It doesn't super excite me to have them way out here in the open like this, but this morning, I'm heading to our Azure Standard drop-off point. It's really hard to find a lot of the organic produce and stuff that they have here locally, and they're about the only source we have for a lot of stuff. I won't be filming the actual drop-off point because I don't like putting a camera in people's faces and making them feel uncomfortable. We don't really get to order there as much as I would like to be able to. It's just the nature of the way the drops work, and if you have other things going on in life, like a job and stuff, it can be hard to make that work around those kinds of things. Because basically what happens is we get a date that the drop-off will be happening during that week, and then you don't actually know the actual day until after you've already placed the order and it's too late to really cancel it or anything like that. So it can be a little tough to work around sometimes, and unfortunately I think there's a lot of people that can't do it because of that reason. Alright, I got all my stuff, and the way Azure works is you'll pick a drop-off point that's closest to you for your stuff to be delivered to. It isn't actually delivered to your house. You can have stuff delivered to your house, but it costs you more in shipping. This way, having it delivered to these drop-off points, it's a whole lot cheaper in shipping for the company. So you'll just have kind of like an estimated date that it'll be delivered, and like I said before, after you place the order, that's a little while after, that's usually when you get your actual date. Now here on the East Coast, we get charged, I think it's 10%, I might be wrong about that, of our order for shipping, just because we're further away, where the company is based on the West Coast. So there is that to consider as well. It looks like it is going to be just an absolutely beautiful day today. Alright, let's get to work. It is impossible to find organic cheese where we live. So I always have to get a really large order from Azure Standard to keep cheese on hand. I prefer to make my own spaghetti, but it's pretty hard to make spaghetti with fresh ground flour that includes the whole wheat berry, because the wheat bran is sharp and it causes the spaghetti to just kind of break up in pieces. Can do it. I have done it and it works, but it's not the same thing as having like a long spaghetti noodle like this. What I do sometimes is buy a big bag of organic flour. That way I can make things that are really hard to make with fresh ground wheat berries, like making gravy, biscuits, any kind of cakes, spaghetti, things like that, pasta. One of the things that I didn't get was my organic butter. I had ordered 2 large boxes of that, but sometimes when you order with Azure Standard and it says it's available and all that, by the time it goes to ship, it is actually not in stock and it won't be shipped. And of course your card won't be charged for it. But then there, you know, there's nothing you can do about it and you just won't get that. What would be great is if I knew ahead of time that I wasn't gonna get the butter, so maybe I could order a different butter. But, you know, There are pros and cons to Ezra Standard, but I'd say by far and large, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. The biggest one is definitely just being able to make it to the drop points when you're not exactly certain what that date is going to be when you place your order. You have a general idea, but you don't know the exact date. And hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to get a dairy animal and we can start producing our own cheese and butter as well. That's the long-term plan. I've left an affiliate link in the description below for Ezra Standard that helps to support our little channel if you want to use that. I really appreciate it. This is not like a sponsored video by Ezra Standard by any means, just kind of like sharing my personal opinion on it, my experience with it for those that have never used it before. All right, it's time to go outside and do some more work. I'm gonna go ahead and let the chickens over here, give them full access to this and close them off from the area that they have been spending all their time in. And in that area, I'm going to move Uni to. I have to put something across at least the bottom part of this fence to prevent the two roosters, Uni and Nonami, from tearing each other apart. Yeah, Gordon Shores. Come on, chickies. Watch the camera. You better behave yourself. Somebody needs to be put in their place. Look at you, Nonami. Oh, a little excited there, ain't you? Leave Odie alone. You too. You go behave yourself? It doesn't super excite me to have them way out here in the open like this. But I don't know, I guess at some point I have to get over my fears of losing another chicken. It's obviously going to happen one day. There's a lot more that these chickens can contribute to our homestead than just staying in our backyard. They need to be out here working the garden. And when it really comes down to it, Oni's the one that I worry about the most, because Oni is no longer just a chicken on the homestead. Uni's a pet. And I just protect Uni as much as I can. I mean, I care about all the chickens, but I guess at some point you kind of have to separate your emotions from your livestock, which is something that I'm really hoping that the American breast chickens will make it a little easier for me to do. But I know what's going to actually help the most is coming up with a system eventually to where we have our meat birds kind of separated from, like, being when you walk right out the back door and you kind of get to know them all. And of course it's a lot easier to become attached to chickens when not only are they right out your back door, but you don't have a whole bunch of them, and you end up, you know, getting to know their personalities and things like that. I mean, even in the case of our main rooster, Nonami, it's not like he's like a pet or anything to me, but I still would be sad to lose him because I know him so well. Yeah, clean up Uni's mess. He made a big mess there. I am sterilizing some more soil to use later today because I have quite a few things I want to start. My basil, some of my flowers and herbs and things like that. And for some really strange reason, hardly any of the lettuce that I planted has come up, like only one plant. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start some more lettuce as well, and I'm not really sure what's going on there. First I'm gonna do is get Finn out of his cage and stick him over to the new area. Oh, Finn. Oh no. Over here. I'm at your own side. We're not gonna bother you. I'll bring you some food and water. Alright, now I'm gonna go get Uni. because this is a shared fence line between the roosters. I'm gonna try to see if just putting up some extra chicken wire will keep them from really tearing each other up. Now, Oni, where can I put a camera that you won't completely destroy it? Alright. Oni! Oni! Come on, man! Oni! Leave it! Oni! Leave it! Don't do something productive! Oni! Come here, Oni! Oni! Let me see how tall you are. There. Is that fight protection, Mom? There. I brought you a friend. I thought maybe I would be able to get away with that short chicken wire, just doing it kind of like at head height of the chickens. But the problem is if I change my mind later and decide I want more coverage, then I've wasted some of the height of it. So I was gonna go ahead and do one on the bottom and then run another one on the top. You know, as Glenn says, if you're gonna do it right. Might have went a little overboard with it, but it'll definitely, I believe, keep the roosters from fighting. This is some pretty small chicken wire, so they can't really do much damage through that if they tried. Just one less thing to worry about. You're the